You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's American Horror Story After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's American Horror Story After Show.
Good evening, AfterBuzzers. We are here at the AfterBuzz TV studios talking everything American Horror Story. So happy to be back. Yay! I am joined, as always, by the lovely Sarah Huggins.
Hi.
Jillian Leff.
Hello.
And Oriana Leo.
Hello.
We are talking Season 3, Episode 9, called The Sacred Taking.
Episode 8, I think.
The sign says 9.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have a question.
If the sign is wrong.
Question off the
Not my
top.
fault.
Well,
yeah, question
Sarah.
off the top.
Are you really going to hold your mic or your
Yeah.
earphones?
Oh, that was the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be holding my headphones like
David's
this the whole
wearing a
night. 'Cause
fabulous
I'm wearing a hat.
for you listeners.
I'm wearing a hat. That
Anyway.
Very witchy hat.
very witchy
very
hat.
witchy hat.
And my headphones don't fit with the hat. So.
Recording like Mariah.
Yeah,
like totally like Mariah.
So, thank you.
That's very cute.
I also sound like
We
her.
missed everyone so
Yeah.
much last week.
We did.
There was a hole in my heart without this show.
No, my
It was
Wednesday was so boring.
I know.
It was awful.
I had nothing.
Mine was really boring too.
I'm so glad that we're all back.
I'm so glad I have something to do now. Whoop, whoop. Let's jump right in. Such a freaking good episode to come back to right after a
Yeah.
holiday break. I was really, really excited. I was happy to see Queenie. I'm glad that we started with that storyline this week when the episode started. And we're seeing her like walking through like under a bridge or like
Yeah, like the
in a homeless
like
commune.
the Skid Row
yeah.
of New Orleans.
I thought at first it was a flashback.
That's
So
what
did
it
I.
was.
Okay.
We did.
Okay, I'm glad we're
Yeah.
on the same page.
And then-
but they
yeah.
when they do have a flashback, they usually give us like a warning.
date,
And I was
right.
like, well, maybe they'll give it to us after the flashback.
I was like, she is about to shank a bee in Detroit
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, that's exactly
She
what I
shanked
thought
a
too.
D instead.
Yeah, she shanked a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said that she needed a dark heart and that he had done something to like 3 schoolgirls and that Angela Bassett was going to be performing.
Madame Laveau.
Oh, Laveau. I was going to call her Lala Reese. See, I'm glad I didn't say
We
that.
need to make you a cheat sheet, I think.
Just for
With
her
pictures.
and Kathy
Yeah, with
Bates.
pictures. That'd be
Just
great.
for Angela Bassett and Kathy Bates, because their names are
Lala
too
Rhea and
similar.
Laveau.
That's true.
Yeah.
They are very alike.
But she's performing a dark spell to increase Queenie's magic. Or her magic? It was
No,
her
Queenie's.
Queenie's magic.
Well, that's what she claims.
She says.
Right.
Yeah.
We actually don't ever get to see the spell performed this week. But
She's sending her on an errand.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
She
to do the
doesn't want
dirty
her
work
there,
she
yeah.
doesn't want to do.
I mean, it was pretty badass though. She like stabbed this homeless guy and then ripped his heart out of his chest.
we got to see it from the other side.
was
That
awesome.
was pretty nar. How'd you feel about that, Jillian?
Well, since I love squirming in my chair while I watch these shows,
gruesome stuff.
I was watching like this, as Oriana always calls me out on. It was disgusting. We haven't seen something gruesome pretty much since the zombie episode. So we needed the gore.
This was much
I was
more
happy
gory.
to see it. But then we see sort of Madison and Zoe swooping in as she's taking the heart out, sort of begging her to come back to the Coven in the most relaxed way. They're like, you know, you could come back.
So true.
Like it was weird. It wasn't like
You should come back. You should think about it.
no, Madison's
She's like, no thanks.
Some bitches
thank
were
you.
mean to you. Get over it. That was her plea to come back to the Coven.
I loved their beanies at the Veils a lot.
Which was much later, but yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I
They
just,
were wearing beanies when they first saw her.
They were wearing.
I think
big
they're
brim
regular. They're
tabs.
They
regular.
were?
Yeah.
Oh. They had lots of.
And then we see Fiona in bed as the next scene.
Yeah.
Yes, we see the demise of
She looked
Fiona.
wrecked.
They did a really amazing job. The hair and makeup people did an incredible job making her look like
terrible.
Horrible.
She was knocking at death's door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we find out she has spinal cancer.
Yes, cancer
she's
has
in
spread.
so much pain.
Which I can't think of anything
Worse.
that sounds more brutal.
Or
Right.
that could be any more like intrinsic to you.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
spine holds you upright.
Right.
So to have a cancer of the
Oh.
spine, it's like,
Good metaphor.
right?
Or
Like
simile.
It's just you know, it's at your very core.
Yeah.
So I felt like they couldn't have picked a better type of cancer. I mean, that's a horrible thing to say, but for the character.
Right.
And although she's suffering, she says that love is the best medicine, and we find out that she is in love with the Axeman.
Deeply in love. I mean, she said later on in the episode that
Deeply
it's
in
the first person that she's ever truly loved.
Yeah.
But
She's also
she
going a
doesn't,
little-
Yeah, she's going a little cuckoo. She doesn't want to fall apart in front of him, though. That's
Yeah.
a real fear, which I think is really normal.
Oh, yeah.
But just I had written it down, and I want to make sure that I get to. I couldn't believe Foxy when she goes, "Do us a favor and die by Thanksgiving."
I know.
I couldn't
She was
believe
like, her
it.
stuffing, what was it? Her
So we don't have to
stuffing?
deal with your horrible stuffing with
Yeah.
raisins and whatever. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Daughter doesn't fall too far from the
apple.
Yeah.
from the tree.
The apple from the tree.
Pie doesn't fall
Yeah.
far from the apple tree. It goes something like
It's
that.
something like that. I'm wondering, though, I'm very curious as to if that was a delusion of Fiona's or if it actually was something that happened.
What do you mean?
Because it sort of happened like in a haze.
Yes.
Right.
That conversation
Gotcha.
between Foxy and Fiona about Thanksgiving and her dying. So it could have been something that she had imagined.
I kind of feel
on her
like it was.
own.
That's a good point.
That's
Yeah.
a very good point. And we
Yeah.
also, I don't think we're really, are we sure, or I should ask you guys, are you sure how much of the visuals of the Axeman and her being in her deathbed, how much of that, was any of that real?
No.
With Myrtle?
Yes.
No, that was put upon her.
Now, what about
by
her
Myrtle.
scene with the Axeman in bed saying, I don't want to fall apart?
I think
front of
that,
you.
That was
was
real.
a real scene
Yeah.
Okay.
in her life. Only because he asked her to run away to Paris. He was like, let's just go to Paris and you can live out your days there. And she's like, I don't want you to see me
Like
die
that.
in
And
a
the
couple
other was
months. I'm
like a
just going to
flash
be a hairless,
Yeah.
Yeah.
toothless monster.
I mean, we know she's vulnerable. Like, hello, the first 2 or 3 episodes, all she did was talk about how she wanted to stay forever young and that she was on this journey. And then it's sort of fallen off, that storyline, a little bit because she's gotten cancer and it's switched to the whole voodoo versus witch magic and all of that thing. But, I mean, it's deep-seated in her. She's tried a lot of things to maintain her beauty, and she cannot beat cancer at this point.
I mean, she tells the Axeman that she'll stay alive just to spite the witches.
Right.
You know, so she still seems like she has it in her.
She has some
has her
fight in
spunk.
her, but it's sort of like at a certain point,
I know.
how
What
much
do you-
more fighting can you do when you know the inevitable?
Absolutely.
In
And-
her case.
and that it's and that it's ugly.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue for her.
I agree. I agree. That's, I think, the biggest thing that she's afraid of is becoming an ugly person and not being able to take care of herself and not being able to, do her magic, which is such a big part of her.
Right.
So if, though, she figured out who the Supreme was, would her cancer just go away? And, like, if she killed her, would her cancer just be done?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a question that has been
I don't think they've drawn
answered
the
for
line
us.
yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we know enough about it. I mean, if you guys have heard anything different or are analyzing the episode different than we are, please let us know in
Yeah,
the comments
tweet
below
us.
or tweet us. But, we were talking about spite.
Yes.
And the next thing that happened in the episode was spiteful and also sort of disgusting. We don't know about you guys, but did Luke get a bleach enema from Patty LuPone?
Right.
Oh my
okay.
god.
How is that like a proper punishment? Like I could
She
understand
said
if he had
purity.
sex.
She's
I know,
cleaning him.
But he didn't do anything unpure. He hung out with her.
What she thinks happened, whether or not it was pure or not pure, it's what his mother
He was
thinks
in the
happened.
house.
Yes,
He
so she
was
wants
with
to
them.
clean him from
Right.
the inside out, and the only way to do that is to clearly give him an enema,
With Ajax or some
which
kind of
I
bleach.
feel like would kill you.
it would be very.
It was kind of weird though because he sat down in the bathtub. Like if
Yes.
you're, I mean,
No, that is
I
how-
don't want to get like too graphic with like how an enema works, but like
Your legs have to be up in the air,
No, they don't.
don't they?
no.
I feel like they do.
No.
I mean,
We're finding out a lot about each other tonight.
This
I have
is-
never
okay, so-
had
But
an
Nan
enema
hears
or
him
administer
screaming. Like,
one.
a bleach enema would be so painful, obviously.
I feel like it would kill
and
you.
when
though.
she would
could.
like take off your clothes, I mean, we all screamed. We were like, "Oh no, not another creepy mother."
And
Like,
to
what-
me, it sounds like, or it looks like, she's done this before.
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah, he knew what was coming.
Immediately, as she mixed her little potion in the bag, her purity potion, he freaked out.
But he took it.
He had the Frank and Kyle face.
yeah, and he didn't run.
Oh, God, he did. It was so...
But he took it and he like accepted his
he
punishment.
took it.
And you know what? Again, the theme with the whole entire season.
Weak
Men.
man.
Weak men.
Weak men. And
Powerless.
But also, like, crazed demonic women as
Yeah.
well. She's not a witch, as far as we know. She's
far
just
as we know.
crazy.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know. As far as we know now, she's just crazy. And I feel like Nan...
I like her brand of crazy though.
I really felt for
Ew.
Nan, though, when Nan was like, she's hurting him, and she wanted to go save him.
And Fiona's like, sit down, shut up.
Whatever.
Foxy.
Foxy, excuse
Cordelia
me.
was.
Cordelia's like, sit down, shut up. Anything that's happening outside of this room is not important. We need to talk. Time is of the essence.
We need to kill Fiona.
So this was the second time in this episode that we've seen a different side of Cordelia,
Yes.
aka Foxy, the fierce side. And I saw this scene. One of our fans tweeted out this scene to us earlier in the week. And we thought it was a spoiler, but in fact
Yeah,
it wasn't.
I got really scared.
Yeah, Sarah was all upset. No, Kyle tweeted out. Thank you, Kyle, for that link. Also, if you guys follow along on Twitter and #FanCoven, we have conversations all week, so
yeah.
you can, tune in with us, tweet us.
If you want to be obsessed all week,
Yeah.
join us. #FanCoven.
So Cordelia is plotting to kill Fiona, and in the midst of that, Misty Day arrives.
Misty Day's freaking out.
Ding
She's
dong.
like, I need help. I need someone to. She's basically like, I need asylum because someone's trying to kill me. Which flashed back sort of a little bit to the return of Myrtle,
Right.
which is so great.
Also, I did not even realize who it was. Did you guys know who it
her
was?
voice
A
and like
voice,
covered in dirt.
and like I thought it was maybe a man at first.
Me too.
Or like
No, I
one
didn't
of
see
those Everglade type people
Yeah.
that you just can't be
Everglade
sure.
people.
You know what I mean?
A
like
hunter.
down. Maybe some of them genetics.
You've
have
been watching too many reality shows
Yeah.
on TLC.
Ariana.
perhaps.
Swamp people.
Zombie. That exists.
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen Hills Have Eyes?
Yes.
Yes.
I was thinking that kind of person out of the swamp.
know.
Gotcha.
That's what I was thinking.
Gotcha. People of the
But
hill.
Myrtle is back and she's like, I'm good, girl, but there's a guy outside. That's basically what she said.
Totally.
She's like, I'm good, but you're going to die because there's a guy outside with a shotgun. Let's go.
Who is
Post-haste.
Hank.
We
think-
assume,
we assume
it's
it's
Hank
Hank.
because the guy was hooded.
Yeah, there could be a whole troop of witch hunters. We have no idea.
Yes.
But we know Hank is sort of Marie Laveau's, like, lurch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I was
We
gonna
also
use
know
another
he's
word,
not. He doesn't have any inventive fashion sense. So like the navy,
That's true.
the navy
Right.
hoodie is kind of standard fare for assassin.
It's very true.
That's what he's been wearing the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. And so she comes to the house. Foxy touches her and is like, "Ooh, you're Misty Day. You're welcome here any day of the week." Welcome.
And that was great because we got to see. We don't quite know her story,
Right.
but we got
No.
to really see the like play by play of her,
which was really cool.
really cool.
It was cool.
To see her like go up in flames and then go into the mud and then come up like
The cinematography
beauty.
of that, like I loved the way they played that out.
the editing.
And the editing, the production of it, and just it told a story in like less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Which was great as a viewer.
Yeah, because that's all we really needed.
I agree. It was expeditious.
Yeah.
So wait, are we decided that she researched herself back to life? Is that
For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
she,
That's-
I don't know
I don't
how,
know
but like
how-
she
okay,
has
how?
that power.
because I don't.
Who put her in the mud?
It's very possible
Yeah.
that
Did they toss her in the mud?
That's what I'm saying, that they set her on fire and then we're like, into the swamp you go.
That's
But
very
like
possible.
maybe
hide
she
the body.
did something. And
But does the
this is-
swamp have powers? Like what? Like so the swamp has been able to heal. We've never even addressed this. The swamp has been able to heal
Swamp mud.
these
A
people,
lot of people, yeah.
and heal their scars and everything. Sort of make them as human as possible, as they can look as human as possible. Is the swamp magic? Like,
Is it
Have you
magic?
thought about this?
Is it magic only with Misty's touch?
Yeah, like I'm
Interesting.
confused.
You know, I personally have thought about it because every time they talk about the swamp and the swamp mud, I think of Anne Rice's interview with the vampire, and Lestat goes into the swamp and survives that as well.
Interesting.
We may want to do some research, or fans,
Yeah.
if you are interested. I'm
know.
sure there's a history of the healing powers of swamp mud.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this somehow must play into the American story, if you will. But we just hopefully they will be forthcoming about.
Right.
Is this
How?
just a backstory that we should already know because we don't live in the South? We don't know.
Right, or because we don't live in New Orleans, we don't know.
New Orleans people tell us.
Yeah.
or anyone.
It's not a New Orleans thing.
Anyone that wants to Google.
Yeah. Let us know. Tweet us. But Misty immediately is like,
I have a friend.
thank you. Can my friend stay here too? I mean, she's very forthcoming with being like, thanks for the house. I got a friend out back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going
Great
to stay as
scene.
well.
But then Cordelia
You're
was
cool with
like,
it.
Oh, hey.
"Oh, hey, girl,
Yeah.
missed you.
Yeah, not like.
Thought you were gone
How
forever."
did you get back here? You know.
Well, I mean, it's Misty Day.
Yeah,
she
they-
should have
I
assumed
know,
it, you know,
yeah.
that she's going to have like a troop of like undead people following her.
You know, it was really interesting when Foxy, Cordelia, and Myrtle embrace. I think it's the first time that Foxy doesn't have some kind of emotional flash where she sees.
Interesting, yeah.
I was waiting for her to
She
see
like already
something.
knew stuff.
I think she already knows everything there is to know about Myrtle. I'm not sure what that is about.
Well, she also didn't have a flash when Fiona touched her at the end.
Yeah,
That's right.
I noticed
So-
that. Yeah.
Maybe
And-
she could control it now.
But that was at the end, exactly. So she gets this. It was the first time so far that she didn't have a flash, and I didn't know what that meant, other than maybe there's no secrets there.
I did really notice. I thought I don't know if it was just the pausing or what, but I felt like they really made it known. Like at the end when Fiona touched her, like she didn't have a flash. Like that was
Absolutely.
yeah. Like
So
it
twice
was-
in the episode.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with her not having any secrets between Myrtle. I do
Yeah.
think because, you know, I guess now we can have a clearer vision as to, you know, who actually threw the acid on Foxy and that it wasn't Myrtle because she would be able to see that it was Myrtle that did it.
Right.
right.
So,
Process of elimination.
Good
Yeah.
call.
And that was exactly what I was thinking is that,
call.
you know, she doesn't have a flash and it looks like this ability of hers helps her see the truth about the certain person and especially regarding what their relationship
Right.
is.
Interesting.
And then,
Yeah,
you know,
I like it. And then Myrtle's like, behold our new supreme.
hey, Misty.
And Missy's like, ooh. She like turns around all dopey-eyed and is like, what?
I'm not a leader.
Which is very sweet. I mean, she is sort of like a small town girl, and she does say later on, I'm not what you would call a natural born leader.
And I don't know about you guys though. Every time they like sort of say someone is the next supreme, you kind of know. Okay,
They're not.
They're not.
You're definitely
So
not.
that kind of made me a little sad. I was like, oh man.
But they decide, as the coven comes together and the plan is starting to unfold, they decide to go through this ritual called the Sacred Taking, which is where we get our episode title from.
Right. Is that a real thing? I wanted to know. I wanted to Google, but I didn't have time.
Oh, interesting.
Somebody
Hey,
asked.
guys, this just in.
Ritual.
Because they did a history thing.
Tell us.
One of our fans tweeted the healing of the swamp.
Oh,
or
awesome.
The herbs.
Let us know.
Healing herbs. So if you follow us on Twitter, you'll get our handles at the end of the
Hashtag
show.
Coven.
I will retweet what I was just tweeted. We will leave that as
Can
a
you
secret so
read
you
it?
can follow us.
No, read it. I want to know.
There's a healing herb. That's all I'm going to tell
That's
you.
In the
very
mud?
cool.
Interesting.
That is so
There's
cool.
a healing herb.
Is that-
Carl Myers. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank you,
Carl.
Carl.
Is that why like there's mud masks and stuff too? I don't want to get into like a whole.
Oh,
side
yeah,
note.
let's not get into
Probably.
that.
Look at my Twitter later.
All
I'll
right, all right,
post
all
it.
right, all right.
Let's go get some Louisiana mud and
Cool.
put it on our faces
I
and see
know,
what happens.
right?
Back to the
looking
sacred
like Angela
taking.
Bassett.
Yeah.
So the Sacred Taking, which has only been performed 3 other times in the Coven's history. The first time was in 1692.
Which
when,
is the one they only talk about.
I know.
Right.
Which was very interesting to me that I was like I wrote down the date. I was like, okay, what's the next date?
Same.
Never came up.
Never.
It kind of made me feel like they probably did it and took it out in post because it was going to make the episode too long. Like, why do you start a list and not
Yeah.
finish it?
Well, why tell us such a long story of the first time?
I felt like it was a list. Like there was going to
Yeah.
be then we were going to hear about the other ones.
Yeah.
But maybe that's also a setup that we're going to have to do another sacred taking ceremony.
Oh, and then she'll be like, the second time.
Oh yeah.
Who
true.
knows? It does sort of
It
seem like
didn't
a
work.
tee up because we know it didn't work.
Yeah, that's true.
So we find out it's the most hallowed sacrifice a
Mm-hmm.
Supreme can make because what she does is she kills herself in order
So
for
the
this-
next Supreme can rise.
Exactly.
And lead the coven.
To safety.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming it's something that you do. It's
in
like
crisis.
In a crisis.
That's what they said. It's a ritual. It's a
She
ritual
wasn't-
used in time of crisis.
So the
Yes.
the first one that we know about, she wasn't mentally there. Is that
She had consumption,
Okay.
She yeah.
which is
she was
like
dying.
tuberculosis,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
And she couldn't make the journey that they needed to make to get to safety. So she was like,
I'm gonna
girls,
die."
I'm going to die.
Right.
Kill
And you
myself.
guys are going to take over, and you guys run without me. I'll be good here. No, I won't. I'm going to die.
So they do this.
So they do this thing,
Yes.
and MM is sort of like, guys, don't be retarded. She's not going to kill herself.
right.
And Fiona's like, Foxy is not, because Foxy says she's not going to do it without some coaxing.
Right.
Right.
Which I have to just say that scene with MM in the red dress. Fans, can you please find out
Season
what
of the Witch was
what she was
playing.
wearing? Because it
You
was
want the
amazing.
dress.
Her
She
dress.
was
So glam.
The light on her hair and also I think honestly an acting performance. I don't think that she's that great of an actress, but that performance was fantastic.
Was amazing.
She really nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, she just rubbed it in Fiona's face. Poor Fifi. You're gonna be
Oh, I
hash
know.
browns
I
tomorrow.
love how she called her Fifi.
Well, MM gives her an ultimatum. She's like, look, you killed me and Myrtle, which, by the way, we're both still alive.
Right.
Surprise.
Surprise. And I brought myself back from the dead, which is a total lie.
Right.
But
And I'm the Supreme,
And
by
I'm the
the way.
Supreme, by the
Totally.
way. So either you kill yourself or tomorrow you're going to burn at the stake because all I need to do is call the council and you're dead.
Right.
So then Myrtle comes and
Oh my god.
Fiona's sort of like, what, is everyone just coming back from the dead now?
Right.
Poor Fiona. It really works on her though.
I mean,
It pushes her over. What does she say? She says, "Oh no, I'm afraid about that. MM has a dreadful case of the mini-me's. She's just like you.
I think she said meanie. Me's.
No, mini-me's.
Mini-me's.
Oh, did she
She's
say
just like
mini-me's?
Fiona. Like she's gonna take over your post. She's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madison.
But she does tell Fiona,
MM would be such
you
a good
will die
Supreme, though."
as you
I know.
lived, alone and
Oh, yeah.
disappointed by everyone.
But did you love that when Fiona was prepared to die, she was like, grab me my fur.
And Myrtle
my
goes,
God.
oh, you're preparing the corpse.
When she walked in and she was putting on makeup, like that was, we all like died laughing. I don't think there's like ever a time where we all like our belly laugh, and that was like the funniest because it was her dry delivery too.
Such
She's
a
like,
good
oh,
line.
That's great.
was
Oh, you're
hilarious.
preparing the corpse.
Yeah.
Lovely, darling.
great.
She's putting on her makeup. She's got like a urban turban on,
Yeah.
and
And
That's
she's
called a
kind
do-rag.
of waxing poetic about how she never wanted to be the last one at the party.
Right.
You know, to always know when to leave. It's not a good look to be the last one at the party.
To
I was
not
a little
overstay
bit
your welcome.
surprised that she was so. I thought for sure that like she had something cooking, like she wasn't gonna take those pills, like it looked like she did or something. But it seemed like she really did. You know.
You know, I sort of applaud, not to say that I'm condoning killing yourself if you are sick like she is. I think you should fight to the end. But
Oh, really? What did you say in the room?
that is my own,
That's how you'd go out.
that is how I would
You
go
would prepare
out.
the corpse, take the pills, and lay
then
in your
lay-
fur on the bed, looking fabulous.
Yes.
I concur.
Right? I applaud that,
She's defeated.
She is
style.
defeated, and you know what? She's accepting the fact, and she's like, you know what? If I'm going to die, I'm going to die, and I'm going to look the way that I want to look
With dignity.
with some sort of dignity.
But then she takes the freaking pills,
So she
and
takes the pill.
Spalding
of all people.
comes back
from
as
the
a
dead.
spirit.
Yeah.
What,
Talking.
were you that surprised that he was there?
Yes.
I was.
I mean, the
I
Axeman was
wasn't.
there.
This is the thing.
But
Like
Axeman's
we talk about the
alive
theme
now.
all the
know.
time that men are sort of powerless, but this is the first time that like he is stepping in
Yeah.
to save her, and his whole family has overlooked their
for
all
300
Okay, but
years.
how
How
Watchers.
creepy is it to say that I come from a clan of watchers?
Watchers.
I find that to be quite disturbing. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean, first of all?
The Axeman is kind of a watcher, though.
But when you come from like a deep clan of watchers.
When I hear watcher,
does that mean?
I think of
Voyeur?
someone, not a voyeur in like a
Creepy?
weird, sexy type of way. I think of a person who's a watcher who has an employer. They see everything, but they don't say anything. They're,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
interesting.
they are watchers. They
I think it's
Or
meant more in a
watching
creepy
over.
sense.
correct.
But they
right.
also watch over the
Yeah,
house.
that's true.
No, I don't think it was meant in a creepy way. He was like, look, I come from a clan of watchers and now I see everything. And she's like, look, I want to die. And he's like, bullshit.
Right.
He's like, you're
They're
not going to be a
plotting
martyr.
against you.
You're not a
Yeah.
martyr.
Okay.
And he gives her the ipecac and he's like, you need to throw this crap up, which I was very confused about how a spirit was able to hand her anything.
Well, the magic of spirits. But also what I was thinking too about him having a voice now and how he's like, I've been
did
given
talk a lot.
I've been given a voice. But he's also in this sort of like eternal no man's land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down ghost servant. So like now he's even less of a man than he was before.
Yeah.
Like he's got a voice, but he's nothing. And he's trapped.
Right.
And he's still a servant. But I think he likes it that way.
I know. He seemed happy.
He seemed really
Well, I mean,
happy.
he can spend as much time with Fiona as he wants
Yeah.
now, and when she dies, he can serve her in the afterlife,
Maybe.
which would be totally weird.
Serve her
Is
in
there
the
an afterlife?
God.
Is there? Did someone say, "Is there an afterlife"?
Yeah, is there for her? I don't know.
Oh, for her. I was like,
Yeah.
"Hello,
Whoa.
Spalding is there."
No, but I mean,
But okay, but how good point. So Spalding is a ghost now, spirit.
Yeah.
Are there any other
Yeah.
spirits in the house? Are there any spirits that are
There
going to come
has
out?
to be. Other people have died there.
Is this season 1 all over again? Like,
Yeah.
are there?
Interesting. I don't think he's like haunting.
No, he's not
No.
haunting.
He's just hanging
He's
out.
just watching.
he's trapped.
exactly watching.
Yeah, he's watching.
But she throws up the pills and
She's back.
she's back. And
He's back.
Myrtle is playing Schubert's Last Sonata,
Oh, yeah.
which I think is so great and so fitting. But, you know,
They're really enjoying it because they think she's currently
I think she's dying.
Dying.
on the way
They're
out.
playing dying music.
yeah,
I mean, it is fitting, but it is kind of bizarre.
totally awesome.
And they're asking Misty Day, "Do you feel anything? Do you feel anything? Do you feel anything?"
Yeah.
She's like, who?
And then Foxy's like, you'll feel a tingling in the toes. And Myrtle's like, that's funny. I always thought it started in the cooter.
She is hilarious
She's
now.
got some
Yeah.
great one-liners.
Yeah.
Great one-liners.
Now that she's come back from the dead.
Totally.
Yeah.
She has
And
a sense
then-
of humor now.
Yeah.
She was really uptight
That's what it
before,
is.
and now she's fun.
Yeah.
Now
She's
that
like-
she's died,
I died.
Yeah, what else can happen?
else?
We're all good now.
we're good now. I'm back from the dead. But then Fiona walks in and she's like, I got a splitting headache.
And they're
Boom.
like, oh, God.
Boom. Myrtle. Misty Day's gone.
Misty Day disappears
Misty
quite
disappears. To what we find out, where Nan had run out earlier when they were talking about who could be the next Supreme and blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
They're
And
like,
Nan's
"It's
like, well, it's
definitely not
clearly
you,
not.
sister."
What's her face? Zoe tells to MM, well, it's not you because you died. And MM's like, what do you think it's you? And Nan is like, I think it's me. And MM's like, it's not you because your pits smell like
Fish sticks.
fish sticks. Which makes no sense.
And then
No.
Zoe just didn't stick up for her, so she
Yeah.
was.
She was kind of like,
Well, because
But
Zoe
so-
thinks it's her.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Self.
If Nan can hear other people's thoughts, why hasn't she heard that one? That's the unsaid one.
What?
Do you know what I mean? That she has a
Like-
chromosomal defect, therefore
They
eliminating
might
her.
not have that written into the script.
that, yeah.
But they were saying genetic defects, like the heart murmur.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That character might not have a genetic defect. The actor might.
Correct.
You see what I'm
I see
saying?
where you're going with this, yes.
Is that the character doesn't have Down syndrome, but the
Alice
actress does.
Okay. Interesting idea.
I mean, that's kind of how I saw it, too.
Yeah.
Hard to follow for me.
Yeah, I'll explain later.
Yeah.
So she runs out, she goes next door, and she finds Luke tied up in the closet.
That was really random to me. Did
Tied up
anyone
and
else?
gagged in the closet. Well, his mom has left for the evening or whatever. She's gone to bed.
That's what she does every night?
And she's like, you're not going anywhere. I'm going to tie your ass up. To keep him there.
Okay.
Punishment.
Punishment. Whatever. He's being punished. He got it. That's the
Mama
least of his
June.
concerns.
Some Mama June.
Right, I would take getting locked up in the closet, tied and gagged over an Ajax enema any day.
Wow. I can't believe you just made that comparison.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Of all the choices we have to choose from.
Between the two,
And he just got stabbed in the back by a zombie.
come on.
So
Between all three of those things. Anyway,
So they walk down the stairs.
they walk down the stairs and
Totally.
they're
But we
leaving. They're
see-
getting into fights. He's fighting with his mom.
But before that, when Nan ran over there, we saw Hank sitting outside the house. Like he's like ready for
He's
something.
watching.
Yeah, he's watching.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he has a deadline. He needs
Yeah.
to get rid of these bitch witches. Come
Yeah.
on.
And he shoots the mom and he goes to shoot Nan, but not Luke. And Luke jumps in front of the bullet. But apparently doesn't die.
Well, we don't know.
They said
He was taken
the mom
away
is dead
with a head wound.
and he has a head wound.
Right.
Not a mortal head wound. He just has a head wound.
He's a head wound.
Which I don't know what means, but Misty is then coaxed by Fiona to bring
I have a big question about this, by the way. But
bring
go
her-
to bring her
finish your
back.
sentence.
And so she brings her back from the dead and then she passes out.
Okay.
Is that your question?
No, that is
Okay.
not my question. Here is my question. So, the Supreme has certain powers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so Fiona seemed like super into the fact that Misty has the power of resurgence. And I was under the impression, and I guess I'm wrong, but I was under the impression that the Supreme has like a set of powers that every Supreme has the same set. But
Yes.
because Fiona seems so like, oh my gosh, you have the power of resurgence, she doesn't have it. Obviously.
She does.
She does.
She does?
We've seen her do it. She says to her,
But
"You're
it's
like,
not
when
the
have we
same.
seen her do it?"
She did
It's
it to
not
the baby,
same.
remember?
Right, but like, why doesn't she do it? Like
What she says is, listen to me.
Gotcha.
She says, it's so rare to find a witch with the power of resurgence.
Right.
I would like to see it. Which leads me to believe that the power of resurgence comes every so often as a singular power.
Okay.
Despite
okay. As a
despite the
singular.
fact that
Okay.
she has it herself.
Gotcha.
Right.
I just was a little like Fiona seemed very interested in the fact that she has that, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then she passes out, which leads me to believe, because we don't get any more talk of Misty for the rest of the episode, and then Fiona touches the bullet and says that it's spelled.
Well, Cordelia finds the bullet outside.
Cordelia finds it, but later on, when Foxy and Fiona are talking, she picks up the bullet and she's like, "What's this?" She's like, "Oh, it's a bullet. I found it outside." She picks it up and she drops it immediately and she says, "It's spelled. It's a silver bullet that's been spelled." And I think when Misty brought back Patti LuPone, something happened to her
Right.
Maybe. I
Because
didn't
of the
even think
silver
of that.
bullet?
because
that
of the
were
silver bullet that was spelled.
Oh no.
Because we've never seen her bring someone back from
And
the
pass
dead and
out.
pass out like that.
That was a great catch.
I hope, well, we know Misty's going to be okay because Stevie's.
Stevie's coming, so
Yeah.
she's fine.
Stevie's gone.
But it's just like one of those things
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
that they didn't touch upon in the episode.
Not yet.
Yet.
But you're absolutely right on about that. We haven't seen her react that way to resurgence
Yeah.
in any other.
But we haven't
time.
really. Have we ever seen her
Yes.
like resurrect someone without like using the
Mud.
swamp and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
Madison.
Yes, Madison
right?
and the
But she
bird.
did it in like a
Oh,
weird.
yeah, and the bird.
But she never just like she just like touched this woman.
Yeah, she may have used all her energy.
She may have
Yeah.
exhausted
I mean, we don't
her.
know.
We don't know. But it's just something
Anyway,
to think about.
Interesting. Okay.
We also, teeny tiny storyline before we move on for the evening, with, oh God, their names.
Breaking
Okay.
House.
Laveau
Oh,
Laveau
Yeah,
and
you got it.
Delphine
and
Lowry.
Delphine. Where Queenie comes back and is feeding Delphine, and Laveau is sort of being taunted by Delphine. And she's like, "You know what? Get me a glass of water, or get me something to drink in a clean glass so I can enjoy my food in peace and quiet, you stupid bitch." And Angela Bassett's like, "You know what? You should be taunting me from that side of the cage." And Delphine is sort of like, "What are you going to do, kill me? I can't
snaps
die."
her hand off.
Cuts her freaking hand off.
yeah.
snaps it
she
off.
just snaps it off.
How
it just came off.
Badass is that?
It was it didn't surprise me necessarily because I felt like it was leading that way, but first of all, it snapped off very easily.
Right.
Or Madame Laveau
Is really
very strong, which is probably the case.
Did
She's
you
very
see
strong.
her arms, Oriana?
I did see her arms. She's a very powerful woman. But wow, I just thought, ruh-roh.
It's so badass, though.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I mean, and then later
It like
on,
rolled out.
it's so great. Later on in the episode, her head comes in a box and is like, help. Goes, help.
And of course, we all laughed at that moment. I don't know
Yeah,
if it was
that was pretty
Amazing.
silly.
This like weird, breathy, bloody
weird.
head just saying help.
we knew it because of the Entertainment Weekly cover
Yeah.
from,
Right.
from 2 weeks ago.
Right.
It's fine.
But one more thing that happened that we totally need to talk about.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Frank and
Oh.
Kyle this whole episode.
Yes.
The three-way continues.
Yeah, so we still find out that Madison and Zoe are sharing Frank and Kyle.
Or so she thinks.
Yeah, and
Kyle is being taught how to
Kyle-
speak.
Kyle says words. He says, I love you to Zoe.
And this road leads
Goes two ways.
ways.
That was like the cutest line ever.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I have to
adorable.
say, in that moment, I stopped hating on the pairing.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It was
Oh,
really
the two of them?
Yeah, I did.
But MM saw that or heard that.
And is
And
soaking
is
wet
devastated.
and crying. I mean, because I guess she just took a shower.
She was just ready for some after shower
Yeah.
sex, you know?
well,
I guess she showers a lot. She's constantly
showers a lot.
has wet hair. She must
is-
bathe like 4 times a day.
she may have some issues. Well, we know she has issues.
We know she
You
has
know,
issues.
as much as I felt bad for her, like, oh, that's sad for her. She has acted so carelessly with
Yeah.
everyone around her.
It's true, but I feel like that Kyle is the first person that she's been able to get a real connection with because they share the
But it's
fact that they both died. And
not
came
a
back
real
to life.
connection.
It's not a real
fake,
connection.
forced
Yeah.
connection because he doesn't feel it for her. She feels it for him, and she's forcing it on him.
She's projecting.
Yeah,
He's
she's
like
totally
connected with Zoe from the get-go. So it's like,
And
Yeah,
MM
whatever.
only wants what other people have.
Right.
Like she doesn't ever want anything for herself. She has to go in and like take other people's things.
right.
Whatever.
I think that's...
I love MM, but
Yeah.
that's
Well,
pretty much
you
the
know,
whole
the one thing
episode.
I wanted to touch on was just that the closing was how, literally Cordelia
Oh, yeah.
doesn't, she faces her mother
Yeah.
and just says,
need
listen,
you."
I plotted to kill you, and it didn't work out, unfortunately.
So
but I'm
you're
not
here.
going to apologize. Like I had to do what I did, and the surprising result. I mean, not that surprising, but I think to her is she's like, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thank goodness for that. And
But also,
I have
like-
hope for the Coven.
Here's this silver bullet. Can you help us? I'm glad you're alive.
Yeah, she was like, we need you now. I'm glad you're still here.
Yeah.
Fiona said she appreciated the grit
That's
it
the
took
rub.
to put together a murder plot like that, and now she's proud.
Yeah.
And then now that they need Fiona more than ever. I mean, because there's a witch hunter on the loose. It's just wow,
AKA
how things
Delia's husband.
change.
You know,
Give it a couple
circumstances.
Yeah.
Circumstances, and that's the rub. I mean, thank God that she didn't die because apparently she's the only one that knows what to do.
She knows what's up.
Yeah.
Supreme.
She's the Supreme. And that's our episode.
Wow,
so
I'm
good.
so
I was
excited
so
for
happy
next
for it.
week.
Really excited for next week.
I have news and gossip.
Do you?
I
Let's
do.
jump into news and
I
gossip.
do.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Some casting news today. Fringe star Lance Reddick is joining American Horror Story, and he is playing a voodoo version of Satan.
Interesting.
I know.
But it's
Is
a
that a
man.
creepy question? Or?
Very, very handsome African American man. Dapper.
Ooh, I hope we get to see an 8-pack.
Ooh.
I was just thinking a Satan that would not have a shirt on.
Okay.
I would appreciate
I'm
that.
sure
Okay.
that's what's
Well,
happening.
also with the announcement, we do find out that he is sort of the key to Marie Laveau's beauty, and that hints at maybe she sold her soul to him. So I have a feeling that she has an enemy, and it comes in the form of this voodoo Satan. So he is going to show up after the Christmas break in the last 4 episodes, which we found out that it is going to be very Marie Laveau heavy. So I'm excited because I love Angela Bassett.
The last 4 episodes will be very interesting. Well, I mean, we sort of got a sneak peek this week. Someone said a war is coming. I think Queenie said it in the beginning of
right.
the
Yes.
episode. A war is coming,
And you're going to lose.
and you're gonna lose, bitches.
Exactly.
Any other news?
I was so busy eating.
I know.
I didn't
Mm.
do any of that stuff.
I was baking.
That is all this week, but if you guys follow us on Twitter, we constantly tweet all week about
We
the
see
wonderful
stuff,
things that are going
yeah.
on in the world
Yes.
of American Horror Story.
And we always look at everything and do our best to respond to everybody, but it's always great when you guys find stuff and send it our way.
your comments.
We love
We
it.
do. So Keep doing that.
We'll love it more if you go on iTunes and you give us 5 stars and you follow the podcast, download it every week, and spread the cheer, spread the
Listen to it
love.
multiple times.
Yeah.
I know, because the more you guys talk about our show, the better feedback we get. Maybe we can book some cooler guests.
We're working on
All this
some
feedback.
pretty
Lots of
awesome
cool guests.
guests.
Yeah.
Up in the upcoming weeks.
So let us know who you'd like to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to get them on the show. But let's jump into prediction.
All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do you guys got?
Mine is totally random.
I'd love
Go
to hear
ahead.
a random one.
It just popped in my head
Okay.
when I was watching, and I wrote, I predict Frank and Kyle will take out Hank the Skank.
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
think he's going to see an opportunity to do something good because he wants to be good. And his raw power, he'll be like, "Ugh, Kyle, kill bad man.
Like caveman. I like
Yes,
it.
like caveman.
But he's
dig it.
getting less caveman like I would like to say.
It will be his grand gesture
Okay.
of like humanity. He'll
Gotcha.
save the girls.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
That's
like
what I
it.
think.
Is that your only
All right.
one?
That's my only one.
Awesome. Jilly.
I am excited to see Cordelia and Fiona band together because I think that they're
I
going
haven't
to
even
be
thought about that.
coming together.
Yeah.
For the first time, because they've sort of always opposed each other, whether it be
Ever in life.
fake niceness, but now with this clarity this week, I'm excited to see them join forces, and I'm excited for Foxy to see again.
Yes, that's
we go.
right.
Too. Yeah.
What do you
Sarah.
got, Sarah?
Gosh, I really don't have anything. I don't like predicting. Is that weird? I just
No,
like
no
to
one
kind
likes
of
predicting.
see what happens. I do think that because Delia can see again, does that mean she doesn't see the truth anymore?
Great question.
Or like I'm wondering that. I'm
she's gonna
thinking
lose
that's
that
the case,
power.
that she loses that power.
Okay.
And because I don't think she's going to find out next week that Hank is her witch hunter, which
Interesting. My only prediction is that we're going to be seeing Patti LuPone come out as a witch, which is why she hides behind her religion.
interesting.
Oh.
Okay.
That's my only prediction.
Because she
Okay.
was the first shot.
The first shot was to her, and that was the
her.
kill shot.
Oh my goodness gracious. Look at
Yes.
you. Throwing it down.
Throwing
Yep.
it down, because I mean, why else would he be shooting her?
right.
So
Or
smart.
shooting-
There's got to be something there. Let's throw out our Twitter handles so that
Oh, yeah.
everyone can follow us. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at You Can Call Me Skiff.
I'm on Twitter at Sarah on the Go, Sarah with an H.
I'm on Twitter at Jillian Leff or my website, jillianleff.com. And be sure to give us a thumbs up on YouTube and share the link.
Yes, on Twitter, it's Miss Oriana Leo, Instagram, Oriana Leo, and we love your comments on YouTube. Please
Love, love, love.
comment, rate us. This is actually an all-volunteer group, believe it or not.
Yes.
We're so professional, but we do come in here as an all-volunteer group because we love the show and we love what we do. So when you guys support us, follow us, retweet the links, it shows AfterBuzz TV how much you love us, and we can hopefully get some things done around here for you guys.
So from everyone here at the AfterBuzz TV Studios family, we want to say thank you, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.